Okay, so I'm still under the weather, so tonight I'm going to make chicken Alfredo. So I have my quick cooker, and I'm going to put my chicken breast in. This is my individually frozen chicken breast. That's in there. I'm going to put in a half of a cup of chicken broth, and then I'm going to cook it. So I'm only making one chicken breast because there's not that much chicken on Alfredo. So I want to make sure that my venting is not pushed down like that. I want to make sure it's released and that that's down. And then I'm going to turn on my quick cooker by setting it to, actually, because I'm only doing one chicken breast, I'm going to do a custom. I could do poultry, but I'm going to do custom time, and then I'm only going to do about, I think I'm going to do 12 minutes instead of 15. And it does this while it's coming up to temperature, and it will do that for probably 10 minutes, and then it will count down the 12. We'll come back in a little bit. Okay, so my timer just went off, and it has been about 16 minutes, so actually it didn't take all that long to get up to temperature. But right now, it's doing a slow release or natural release, but I'm gonna do a quick release. So in order to do that, you just push this button, and it releases all the steam. And as soon as it's done doing that, it'll be safe to remove the lid. So our chicken breast is cooked, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to take that out of there using my Pampered chef tongs. So I put in a half a cup of chicken broth there. I'm going to put another cup in and just add to that. So 1.5 cups of chicken broth is what this recipe calls for, and 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. There we have. Not the very best videographer here. So I next need a teaspoon of garlic powder and salt and pepper to taste. And then I'm gonna throw in, I have a half a pound of noodles. And these aren't fettuccine. My son likes spaghetti noodles, so that's what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna kind of spread them out throughout the pot. They do sometimes stick together, so kind of wanna give them a chance to come in contact with the fluid, but this recipe says do not stir. So once that's done, I'm going to put the lid back on. And I'm going to set it, so I'm going to release that back and make sure that's down. And then I'm going to cancel to custom time, and this is only going to run for 7 minutes. And start. And while we're waiting for that to cook, I'm going to slice my chicken breast that I cooked, and I'm going to slice the chicken breast into small pieces. The Santuco knife is fabulous. It just cuts through this stuff like butter. And I could use a fork, but I'm not big on using a lot of dishes, so I'm just cutting these into slices that are a little bit narrower. Now you might notice that the chicken is just ever so slightly on the fair side of cooked, and that's okay with this because I'm going to throw it in with the Alfredo once that's cooked, and it'll continue cooking. So it's not raw by any stretch, but it is nice and tender, and I don't want it to be overcooked once I put it in to heat it through with the noodles. So this will sit while that cooks, and we'll see you in a bit. All right, our timer went off. It's been doing a natural release for a couple minutes. I'm gonna let it go the rest of the way. I do feel like this gets up to pressure a lot faster than my Instapot. The cook time is a lot shorter, it seems like. So once that is done, so what we've put in this recipe so far is 1.5 cups of chicken broth, 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream, a teaspoon of garlic powder, salt and pepper to taste, and the fettuccine noodles or whatever noodles you prefer. So this is what it looks like right now. It's just kind of a bubbly sort of thing. And what we need to add next is 3/4 cup of Parmesan, which is pretty much everything that's in here. So I'm gonna dump that in. And I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit, just to kind of rest, as they say, for about maybe 2 minutes before I start mixing it all up. And that's kind of imperative, apparently, for it thickening, because it's a little bit runny at first. So at this point, mix the noodles in. And then I'm going to take my chicken here. That has been waiting to be added. I don't have the Pampered Chef cutting boards, but they're similar to this. And the nice thing about them is that you can actually bend them and fold them, and then they'll work like a funnel to pour into whatever dish you want to put them in. I'm going to let that cook for a few minutes, and then dinner will be served. And I'll garnish this with a little bit of, with a few parsley flakes, and voila, dinner is served.